So guys, finally UBISOFT is waking up and now finally check the pick rates in close qualifiers. And why is it so important? Because close qualifiers means they are the winning teams, they know exactly what to do, what to play, and so on. And right now, I already mentioned, I already made a video about tier lists, and I took the numbers of the 4v4 tournament, alright? And I translated them into a tier list. So what does it mean? So I skip forward. Here are the pick rates in the 4v4 close qualifiers. And you see Orochi, this was of course pre-nerf, alright? Every time when you perform the dodge attacks in the tournament, it was enhanced. That means you can suppress everyone around you, every enemy around you. And when they have no countermeasures to it, for example, a Black Briar flip, crushing counters, hoop blocks, they can't do shit. They cannot even throw dodge attacks on you. Like, you can suppress everyone, and when you see the opportunity, you let a move fly. Alright? So, this is very important because UBISOFT is finally seeing which hero is meta. Because Orochi, most picked heroes. After Orochi comes Pirate, and then JJ, Griffin, and so on. But now they see, okay, we have two heroes standing on the top. What should we do? And we come to this later. But it's very important to see which hero is the most picked heroes and why. And I explain it because Orochi has enhanced dodge attack slides. It's the same for Pirate. Okay? Now, to the next page. Most banned heroes in the close qualifiers. And surprise, surprise, like here, you don't see a good representation of these two guys. You know why? Because they're the most banned heroes. Varangian Guard, you cannot really see it because of my webcam, doesn't matter. But it's Varangian Guard and Hitokiri. They are the most banned heroes. So we have basically 4 heroes that are on the top of everyone else. And this is finally the point where UBISOFT sees, okay, we have to do something against that in a reasonable way. We don't need the nerf hammer, we just have to adjust them, okay? And this is all I need, or this is everything we need. Guys, we don't need to nerf someone to the ground. We only have to adjust them. And we talk about the patch notes also later. But for me, it's very important UBISOFT sees this. So, and now this is for the 4v4 tournament. Now we just go through the 2v2 data. So, 2v2 close qualifier pick rates. Guess what? It's Pirate. You cannot see her because of my webcam again. But she got picked 58 times in the 2v2 closed qualifiers. Same. Guess what? Hitokiri. Hitokiri. Most picked heroes. And after the 2v2 tournament, guess what? The 2v2 tournament was after Orochi's nerf. And what happened to Orochi? He's still in a reasonable spot, but not on the top. In the 4v4 tournament, Orochi was on top over Pirate. Now, he's here. And I have to say how it is, it's absolutely a reasonable number for me. Very reasonable. I love that. I want to see that more often. Can we expect a Pirate nerf in this in the near future or maybe far future? I hope so. Because people don't believe me when I say Pirate is S tier. When people disagreeing, they're probably not playing on the same skill level or MMR rating, whatever. Because When you have a tool to suppress everyone and you can get punished for that, that's such a huge advantage. And she has also one of the best feats in the game. Crazy, right? And I'm talking too much. I just want to go through the 2v2 tournaments data, but now we go through banned heroes. Guess what? Lawbringer and Hitokiri, most banned heroes. Even it's ridiculous. Like Hitokiri and Lawbringer here. But this is very important. Ubisoft also finally starts to analyzing pick rates and tournaments. And I think this is the best data they can pull off. Like, they are always saying, yeah, we're doing testing grounds here and there, blah, 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 to balance the heroes. Balance the hero. For example, Lawbringer. It makes no sense. Just do a tournament, see which hero is underperforming by pick rates or overperforming by pick rates. Like, competitive players will definitely always pick the best, strongest hero that is required in the current meta for team mode. 4v4, 2v2, blah blah blah. So, that's it. And now we talk about the patch notes. Patch notes, very important, guys, super cool. But the first one is more like a bug fix. The global change. Throw victims are now fully invulnerable to guard break for the duration of the throw. JC, me personally, I cannot remember one situation where I got GB'd again after a throw. Like, when I get throwed and someone GBs me, usually the guy pounces off. Like, when he grabs me again while in throwing animation, usually he gets bounced off and I get extra revenge. But according to JC, sometimes it happens in rare instances, so this is more like a bug fix. Relatively irrelevant for us players because it happens so rarely, because I play ForHonor for 8 years. I cannot remember one situation where this happened to me. Therefore, for me, relatively irrelevant. Maybe there might be abuse, but it never happened to me. So this is why I say irrelevant. But hey, if they fix it, I take it. Aramusha! Ring the bell can now be target swapped. Small buff, but the main problem is he still sucks in teamfights because of the forward movement. Ring the bell has a ridiculous forward movement, and ring the bell is, in theory, a great tool because after ring the bell you can immediately go into sword blockade, and therefore it's a little bit harder to peel against you. But the forward movement is a huge problem. Like, when every time you see an Aramusha heavy wind up, you dodge away to the side, you unlock to lock onto someone else, and you dodge to the side, you're usually, I say usually, you're out of range of ring the bell. And for a lot of other heroes, it's not a problem because they have a forward dodge bash. And you see, like, you dodge already forward, and then you stay in range of the second guy or of your victim. But with the ring the bell, it's a little bit different. But we have to do, of course, more testing. And JC already mentioned it. Forward movement is also a problem. But this is my personal experience as a Aramusha main. Forward movement is a problem of ring the bell. So, but in anti-gank situation, it might work when they are really close to you. But this is like a false illusion of having offense. Like, ring the bell animation is relatively risky. So, that's Aramusha, guys. Renegade. Chain link timing for block light openers to light finishers is now 300, up from 200 milliseconds, and weapon trajectories were adjusted to better match weapon visuals. What does it mean? It is, of course, a nerf, but from my perspective, they're just normalizing her kit. Chain link timings. When you block a light attack or when you get hit by a light attack, usually you have the option to dodge out of it. Alright? Like you eat the light attack, you can dodge out of it. You block a light attack, you can dodge the second light attack. But that's not the case on Ranging Guard, because she's not following the regular what is it called again? Frame advantage rules. So by doing that, they're not nerfing her. In my opinion, they're just normalizing her. And I think this is a reasonable change. I have zero complaints about it. I'm totally fine with that. Weapon trajectories were adjusted to better match weapon visuals. Yeah, this is a reasonable change for every hero. Like, no hero should have better hitboxes than the weapon visuals. Point. I have nothing to add to this. This should be on all heroes. So, will this fix Ranging Guard? We will see. But right now, she stays, in my opinion, still on a very strong A tier. Very strong A tier. Because of her base kit. Alright, let's move on. Zohei. Yeah, Soul Tetsubo now feeds the correct amount of revenge. There was some inconsistency of revenge feeds. I don't have to go further to it. Zohei is underperforming. They already mentioned it. They will try to buff him at one point. But they have to fix him first. There was a problem with a revenge gain. Like, one move was almost feeding 0 revenge, and now they changed it to 30 revenge, like the regular revenge. This is a reasonable change, because why should Zohei be an exception to the revenge feed system? Yep. No complaints here. Good change. Orochi! Huge nerf. I will explain. Orochi Storm Rush left and right side dodges are no longer undodgeable. What does it mean on higher levels or medium levels, low levels? Usually people are playing in two different styles. They just completely predict because they cannot react, or they react to everything. They try to react to everything. For people who tries to react everything, nothing will change. But people on medium level or mid level or low level, they try to dodge. For people who tries to dodge, they have now two options. Like, every time when Orochi dodges forward, it means two things. He goes for Storm Rush, or three things. He goes for Storm Rush, he goes for a kick, or he goes for a GB. Alright? And when Orochi does a forward dodge, and you dodges to the side, you have the chance to dodge Storm Rush now and a kick. So Orochi has to do one more read, or one additional read, to actually land damage on the victim. You know what I mean? Like, when you see a forward dodge, yeah, by side dodging, I option select two options of Orochi. It's a kick and a side Storm Rush. But when the Orochi has to read on the dodge, he has to go. He has to go for the top attack, top Storm Rush for an undodgeable, or he needs to cancel. No, not to cancel. Cancel is the wrong word. He just needs to forward dodge and then GB. So he cannot just blindly throw Storm Rushes for people on lower or medium level, and gets every time his Storm Rush in. But on higher level, it doesn't really matter. People will react to it. Storm Rush itself is reactable on the lobbies I play, usually. So, That means Orochi has a harder time to land damage on lower or mid level. That's it. This is my opinion. This was how I played Orochi before all Storm Rush attacks were undodgeable. But because I think it was in the past, only the top one was undodgeable. But I cannot remember when that was. But yeah. That's it. Kyoshin! Let's go! I think this is a reasonable change because weapon trajectories were adjusted to better match weapon visuals. And for Kyoshin, it's definitely a buff because Kyoshin hitboxes were inconsistent in so many ways. The light attack hitbox were ridiculous. Only the heavy ones have good hitbox, or the the zone attack out of Fujin force, Fujin stance. Or Kaze stance? I don't know what the stance is called again. But overall, I have to say Kyoshin hitboxes were whack. Were so ridiculous, weird, and inconsistent. This is why I appreciate this change. And I think, like I mentioned before, matching the hitbox to the visuals is always a reasonable change. They have to do this on all heroes. And wait. Oh wait, Shaman comes later, but never mind. Like, they have no complaints to this. Zero. And I think thanks to these changes, Kyoshin was more like a niche pick. He was. In 1v1, he's totally fine in Dominion. But in team fights or in anti-gank situation, it's really annoying when you are when your attack just whiffs. You cannot suppress anyone or whatever. So, in my opinion, this boosts Kyoshin to A tier now. Because his base kit absolutely works. Only his hitbox was shit. That's why he's rarely... Wait, I have to check the pick rates. Wait, let's remember the 20, 4v4, close, qualifier, pick rates. Here. Kyoshin got picked 3 times on the low end. And I think after the change, he might be around here. But that's my personal opinion. So, back. Here's Kyoshin. Now to the next hero. It is Hitokiri. Weapon trajectories were adjusted to better match weapon visuals. In Hitokiri's case, it's a huge nerf. Because hitboxes and Hitokiri's were absolutely ridiculous. He has infinite hitbox, hyper armor, super armor, call it whatever you want. But the hitboxes were ridiculous. In team fights, he's super oppressive. Like, trading with him makes no sense because even when you land the damage, you take the damage, you're automatically in frame disadvantage. He can keep throwing heavies. There's nothing you can do unless you full block him. And when you throw, for example, unblockables on the far right, the hitbox were insane. Like, you hit people, like, when I play Hitokiri, I don't even expect to hit the people on my far right or my far left. Depends on which direction I throw my unblockable. This is how it is. But by doing this, absolutely reasonable, 0 complaints. Maybe I'm playing Hitokiri again, thanks to this change. Yeah, guys, please don't blame me, but this is how it is. So, Lawbringer! JC already mentioned it. He gets a rogue catcher in the next season. So stay with us. Okay. Ubisoft is working on that. Side dodge shows no moves in the direction of the dodge. Side dodge shows no have iframes from 100 to 300 during the attack. It's a buff because they also mentioned they improved slightly the forward movement on the shows. Side dodge shows. I name you one scenario where it's really important. For example, you're in a big team fight, alright, and you see the JJ positioned himself in a direction where he can throw an unblockable on you and on your teammate. What does it mean? You have to dodge. But sometimes the unblockable forward movement is so far away. Like if you let it go, you have to go for the dodge. Otherwise you eat the unblockable. But you go for the side shove. What happens? You whiff. Because the forward movement was not enough. But with the change, it is. In many cases now. But we have to test, of course, the dodge range. Overall, this is a buff to Lawbringer. Like, you have additional iframes now. You have more forward movement. Totally fine. I like that change. This is a quality of life improvement for team fights. For Lawbringer. In 1v1, does it really matter? Not really. Because I think you can still do the bash option select, like someone's throwing on a blocker on you. You're super lazy. I'm super lazy. I throw just side dodge attack. You're still invulnerable to guard breaks. This is my personal opinion. So overall, a nice change. Next season he gets a role catcher that makes Lawbringer a decent hero for the next season. In the next season, I mean. Same change for Conqueror. I appreciate it. So, Shaman! Wildcats, Rage Predator, and Predator's Mercy are now performed from 100 to 500 during front and back dodges. What does it mean? Simply put, you can bash someone now out of a heavy parry. This is what it means. A straight buff to Shaman 1v1. That's crazy. Like, I thought they... this is so questionable. Like, Shaman was doing absolutely fine on 1v1. Alright? But in team fights, in Dominion, she underperforms. And we see this on multiple heroes across the board. Ranking guard, weapon trajectories were adjusted to better match weapon visuals. We have this on Kyoshin. Okay, now my stream is okay. Yeah, it's back again. We have this on Kyoshin. We have this on Hitokiri, but not on Shaman. And I'm just asking for not for great hitboxes, I'm just asking for accurate hitboxes. Shaman has a hard time in team fights and clearing minion waves. Have you ever played Shaman and tried to clear minion wave? It's the most annoying. It's absolutely annoying. I cannot imagine. Like, I absolutely dislike clearing minion lanes with Shaman. Makes no sense. It takes too much time. It's just confusing. That is the only one questionable thing for today, for this patch. Like, no update to her hitbox. But hey, that's how it is. Overall, I still want to see how this will impact Shaman 1v1. I might play her from time to time, only to see how this will impact him 1v1, but I think this is a huge buff. Yeah, I have nothing to add to this. I really hope they improve her hitbox, but that's it. So, will you... yeah. And before people are crying out like this is so broken, guys. If you are not comfortable fighting Shaman, okay, in Dominion, just stick with team fights. Like, there's always a counter strategy to her. Like, no one can pull off a Shaman bite in the team fight. Not in my lobbies. I played this game for years and no one, like no one in the last month. I cannot even remember where last time a Shaman pulled off a bite in the team fight. I cannot really... I'm serious, guys. I cannot remember one situation where this really happened. So, next hero, Ocelotl. Skull Smash, no longer chains on miss. That's a huge nerf on Ocelotl. Every time when you bash, you can still every time when you perform Skull Smash, you can keep chaining your attacks. That means you're very hard to punish. It's super hard to punish Ocelotl's Skull Smash. That makes him less viable in duels, or let's say less oppressive, and he loses also some utility in team fights. Ocelotl is super strong, and it's very annoying and hard to play against him. And I think Ocelotl also has, let's check the table. Very, like this is the 4v4 pick rates for Ocelotl, super high. He brings so much on the table, strong hero overall. Is this nerf necessary? Kinda, yes. So, I think this is everything. This wraps it up. Yeah, we talked about all patch notes. Let me know what you think about the changes. Overall, I love them. I can't get enough. Like, finally, Ubisoft realizes pick rates in tournaments are absolutely important. Alright? This is why I always, when I do a tier list, I take pick rates and rate the heroes according to the pick rates. For example, no one. Like I saw some comments like, why did you rate Pirate in S tier? Her 1v1 is kind of meh. I agree. But she is a great ganker. She has her dodge attacks are insane in team fights. Super oppressive, great feats. She brings absolutely everything to the table. And yeah, I'm happy. Ubisoft finally checks the pick rates. I can't ask for more. And we will see definitely a positive change in the meta in the near future when Ubisoft keeps this up. Like, I think this is the cheapest way to balance the game. Guys, just arrange, sponsor a tournament for $1,000, $5,000, and then you see what competitive players are actually playing, how they play, how to fix that. Like, for example, heroes with 0 pick rates, okay, there's definitely a problem with them. Or in every lobby, every match, oh, okay, this hero gets picked every time and he wins every time. There might be a problem with that. But, guys, I'm so happy. Today is definitely a good day. And that's it. We see us in the next video, boys. Bye-bye. Yeah. Leave definitely a comment. I want to see your feedback or your opinion to Ubisoft's behavior or plans, buffs, whatever. Okay, that's it, guys. Bye-bye.